What a wild weekend of college football it was last weekend. Some amazing games. Obviously, the game. Michigan beats Ohio State for the third straight year. The Iron Bowl was epic. You had some great matchups in rivalry games, including the Apple Cup, Washington and Washington State, in a game that the Huskies won right at the end. So it got me thinking a little bit. I thought to myself, you know what? We should go back and look at the most important and impactful plays from the weekend, and I've got 4 of them, and they're from the games that I just mentioned. So let's go out to the game that I was calling, and I want to tell you and show you what happened in the game film on 2 of the most important plays in the Michigan-Ohio State game. This is going to be Will Johnson's interception early in the game. It's going to set up Michigan for a touchdown inside the 10-yard line. So here's Will Johnson. He's locked on Marvin Harrison. Look at the inside leverage he plays with. So Harrison's trying to run this inside breaking route, but because there's a safety over the top, Will Johnson can squat on this route and even play heavy inside, in particular because Harrison is telegraphing his route a little bit, and now all he's got to do is beat him to the spot. Now, I would expect a little bit more fight from Marvin Harrison Jr. right there because Will Johnson beats him to the spot and he intercepts the ball. That is a massive play, a turnover. Then he gets the ball down inside the 10-yard line, deep red area. Michigan's able to score. That is a massive play and a great job by Will Johnson. And what they would have seen on film is that Will Johnson has 6 interceptions in his career. 4 of them are inside breaking routes. He's really good at that. And so Kyle McCord, when he comes off of that fake, he's got to know who he's targeting. It's not just that he's throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. He's got to know that he's trying to complete an in-breaking route against a guy who likes to squat in Will Johnson, and they did not recognize that. Johnson beat him to the spot. He had help over the top, knew he could just sit there and play heavy inside leverage, and because of that, Michigan got the interception and then eventually a touchdown. Now let's go to a touchdown that they got on the offensive side, and this was a critical play. J.J. McCarthy to Roman Wilson over the middle. Now, Ohio State's in man coverage, but what they do with the second safety, Malik Hartford, is that they drop him into a robber technique. So his eyes are going to be all over McCartney. Here comes Roman Wilson in motion, and he's going to have this little over route, kind of a seam route to the opposite side. Now, McCarthy looks to his right, doesn't like it, so now he comes back to Roman Wilson. When he decides to throw the ball, Hartford's eyes are actually still on him, but right when he releases, Hartford moves his eyes to Roman Wilson, and that's the reason that the ball is able to creep through this tight window. Look at that tight window. If Hartford's eyes stay on McCarthy, for another beat, he picks that ball off, but it didn't. And the ball is a laser beam right between the 2 defenders. It's a beautiful throw. It's a catch. Roman Wilson takes it into the end zone, got control, takes it into the end zone. It's confirmed in review, and Michigan scores. But you see just the small nuances. Games are won and lost because of these inches, these little details. Will Johnson sits on an inside breaking route. Hartford's eyes just move ever so slightly the beat before the ball leaves the quarterback's hands. And one plays a touchdown for Michigan, and the other one is an interception for Michigan. It's wild how these plays tend to go like that. Beautiful throw there from McCarthy. And I tell you, it takes a lot of guts to make that throw. He claimed in an interview that he saw Hartford's eyes move before he released the ball. And if he did, man, more power to him, because as you can tell by the video evidence, that was close. All right, let's go to the Apple Cup now, Washington and Washington State. So it's 4th down. Kalen DeBoer's season is on the line. It's 21-21. If they don't get it, Washington State's in field goal range. What do? Watch this. This little ride play. It's a read off of the defensive end, but I love what Penix is doing. See how he takes the fake all the way down, and then he's going to bring Rome Odunze back on this little flip on the other side. The reason I wanted to show you that play is just because of that fake from Penix. That fake and riding the running back all the way down, those little details, that's what gets the opening, and then that's why he's so excited. Odunze is able to get the 4th down. They would go down, they would kick the field goal, and they would win the game. Again, football is about details and execution. It's the little things. It's not just that you call the play, it's that you have to execute the play, defensively or offensively. So if I'm Michael Penix and now you're the defensive end and I'm staring right at you, I got to ride that guy all the way down and get you to commit to me, and then I can flip it back to Odunze, and he's able to get the 1st down. Last one before we get out of here about last week, and we cannot leave without showing you this play from Alabama and Auburn. First of all, Auburn's going to try to play man across the board and then 3 players deep in kind of a 3 free safety, man across the board. Look, that leaves 3 guys to rush, but here's the problem. They decide to QB spy. For what reason? I have no idea. The ball is at the 31-yard line. You would want nothing else than Jalen Milroe to run because you've got all your defenders back there ready to come tackle him. So there's your 3 free players deep. Here's your man players. There was some confusion. Isaiah Bond is running kind of free. And again, there's 5 seconds where he can throw the ball because they only rushed 2 guys. There's no reason to have a spy. Chase him out of here. But they didn't. And then all of a sudden, the coverage gets screwed up, and the free player who doesn't have a man doesn't read the quarterback of the eyes, doesn't read the eyes of the quarterback, and so he's nowhere to be found, and now it's a one-on-one situation. The ball is perfectly thrown. Perfectly thrown. It's not over Bond's head, and it's not too short where the defender can knock it down. That's a tight window throw from way deep far hash. Beautiful throw from Milroe, and just horrendous defense from Auburn. You did everything wrong. The free safeties didn't read the eyes of the quarterback. They spied when they shouldn't have. They didn't know who they had in man on the underneath players. They didn't get the quarterback outside of the pocket, which would have effectively minimized the area which they needed to cover the rest of those players. Boy, that was a wild scene on Saturday. Those were some of the best plays that we had on Saturday from some of those great games. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.